おー、始まってる。自分の端末で見てるんですけど、すごい遅延ありますね。よいしょ。こんにちは、メソです。なんか警告が出てる。はい、ありがとうございます、コメント。ちょっと前からゲーム配信っていうのに興味があったんですけど、最近周りでも始めてる人がポチポチいて、でちょっと、機材揃えて自分も始めてみようかと思ってやってみました。本当は、スイッチのゲームを配信したいなと思ってたんですけど、まだちょっと機材揃ってないので、それまで Steam のゲームで遊んでいこうかなと思います。最初ちょっとやろうと思って何にしようかなと思ったんですけど、ポータルもこの間セールの時買ってプレイしてみたいんですけど、以前やったゲームでだいぶ内容を忘れてるのでちょうどいいなと思って、このザ・スタンリー・パラブルっていうゲームをちょっとやってみようと思います。ゲームどういうゲームかっていうと、まず自己紹介はいいですね。そのうちちょっとずつしていきます。ちょっと早速ゲームを。
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427.
どういうゲームかって知ってる方もいるかもしれないんですけど、ちょっと見てれば多分すぐわかるかと思うので、このまま特に説明せず始めていっちゃいます。
Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy.
最初はスタンリーがどういう人間だったかっていうプロローグですね。
Something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
これで操作できるようになりました。動くことができるようになりました。操作は本当前後左右とマウスクリックだけだったと思います。とりあえず部屋から出てみます。いくつかルートあるんですけど、ついてるパソコンがある。とりあえず最初は道なりに。
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
こうやって自分が行動する前にナレーションが次の行動を指示してくるんですね。とまず天の声に従って動いて。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
おー、なんかこのゲーム、このゲームに限らず、最近のゲームってこうトロフィーとかあって、これにも設定されてるんですけど、その中に
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's
ゴー
office.
アウトサイドっていうトロフィーがあって、ゲームを5年間起動しないっていうトロフィーがあって、それ昨日これ起動したら取得してました。最後にやったのが2014年だったので全然覚えてないな。これは使えない。
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
こうやってナレーションの指示に従って行動したり、全く無視して例えば最初の分岐で右の扉に入っちゃったりとかしていくと、どんどん違うルートに進んでいくっていうゲームですね。お、振り向けなくなってしまった。あれ？なんかあったような気がするんですけど、動けなくなっちゃいましたね。またちょっと違うルートでやってみよう。なんか今のところエレベーターで降りていくとなんかあったと思うんですけど、ちょっとじゃあさっきと違うルートで。あれ、パソコンついてない。ランダムでついてるんだったかな、ここ。同じ行動すると同じ方に行っちゃうので、左のドアには入りません。
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on
左
his
側の
left.
一つ目の開いてるドア。はい。
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
だんだん辛辣になってくる。
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door. All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
おー、ドアノブが。これ、最初の分かれ道だとすると、右行ったり左行ったりすると多分、最初の分かれ道のルートに戻っちゃう。あー、怖っ。
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Please rate your experience.
Oh, of course. A 3. Really? Maybe next time we can get you to form an actual opinion, you know? Any level of critical thinking or engagement with your surroundings? Does that sound good? Think we can do that? Yes? Wonderful. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Oh. Oh. あ、なんか一部行けばいいのかな。
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience. You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes. This seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Oh.
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you.
このゲームでマイクラ
I
8
will
プ
only
レイですね
create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley.
あ、で
I'm
も、ジャ
going
ンプ
to
ができ
build
ない。
a house. This will go here. No, here. And then... Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the
さっきの
experience.
赤ちゃんのやつも
Please,
4時間
step
耐久したらな
inside
んか
and make
あったの
yourself
か。
comfortable.
入れない。
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
カモン。あ。おー、もう選択肢がない。ダメか。
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light? Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
ずっとナレーションが喋ってるから実況に向かないですね、これ。ああ、これからやろうとしてるゲーム。
I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
おお、ちゃんと持てる。 ータルですね。ポータルも人の実況でちょっと見て面白そうだなと思って、自分でちゃんとやりたいと思ってたゲームなんですけど。
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games, and I highly doubt you're any wiser for the experience. Which is why, rather than continue to waste my time, I'm just going to leave you here. You can pretend you've beaten the game if it makes it any richer for you, but as for me, I've had enough. So, why don't you get cozy in this room, and if you have any grand revolutionary ideas for the perfect video game, you can just sit there and let it ball up inside you for all eternity. I don't need your advice. I don't need your ratings. And I certainly don't need the validation of a man whose job is to push buttons. I think I'll just go about my business, making meaningful cultural contributions to the world. And perhaps every now and then I'll think back to a man named Stanley who was objectively wrong in every decision he ever made. The thought won't last long. Goodbye, Stanley. Good luck with your work. And I sincerely hope that everyone lives happily ever after.
おお。いやー、もう暗いとこ入んの怖いな。また止まっちゃいそうで。あ、怖っ。よいしょ。ん？どっか行けるとこある？あ、
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it, down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice, and if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end, to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
あ、一周した。というのがいくつもルートがあって、
Wait, Stanley thought to himself.
なんかまた
Am I sure that the orders stopped coming in? How is that possible? They never stopped. Surely I was mistaken.
まだ終わってない。ついてる。入力待ち。あ、なんかわからない。
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
ループしたからちょっと違うナレーションになってるんですね。大体30分ぐらいの配信しようかなと思ってたので、どうしようかな。もう1個ぐらいルートやって、っていうかさっきの続き見てたら終わりにしようかなと思います。エレベーターに乗ってみよう、次は。
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad, Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
なんかまた
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
で、エレベーター。
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
ああ、先が。
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
おー。壊すことを決めた。これ
And when at last he found the sword,
あ、まだついてた。
blackness, and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes! He had won! He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command.
Oh.
Freedom was mere moments away.
キューブのラストみた
And
いな。
yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
What なんか言うかな。何も言わないですね。これが ナレーションに全
Stanley
て従
felt
っ
the
た
cool
ラスト
breeze
で、
upon his skin, the feeling of
でも
liberation,
他のルート見て
the
も
immense
同僚がどうなっ
possibility
た
of
か
the
とかわか
new
んなかったような
path
気がするけど、
before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy. というのをひたすら続けるゲームですね。なんかさっき途中の他の人のパソコンが All
集
of
会
his
によって電
co-workers
源が
were
入
gone.
って、でも
What
こ
could
れ、
it
はい、
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
なんか集会によってのランダム要素もちょっとあったと思うんですよね。それで解除できる実績があったりなかったり。こうやって埋めていくんだ。最初の部屋でずっと待ってるとまた違うあれがあったりとかって面白いゲームなので、よかったらやってみてください。というところで今回は終わりにして、次はちょっとまた喋りやすそうなゲームをやろうかと思います。じゃあ見ていただいてありがとうございました。